So you want to get into collecting third-party masterpiece or legends, or just get away from the main line, or you're just getting into it?
Welcome to hell, mother.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
That's just jokes. I say that because when I first got into it, let me just say I see a lot of people coming into the space and they just can't navigate it. They don't understand it. I see a lot of people asking different questions. This won't answer all the questions I've seen. This is basically just a very beginning. This is the third time I'm filming this video. I probably should have kept the other footage because it could have been good for a different video, because it's so much, and it just lets me know after recording this video 3 times, because it just got too much. I'm gonna keep this very concise, and I'm gonna talk about masterpiece. I'm gonna talk about legends. I'm gonna talk about maybe some CHUG stuff. We're gonna establish what those things mean to me and to maybe the broader scope of the community. I'm not the greatest person to do this video, but I have been collecting for 9 years, give or take. So I do know a little bit. And that's not to say I'm always learning new stuff. So I know how much of I know how overwhelming all of this can get if you're trying to navigate this space of collecting Transformers. So that's all I'm dealing with right now, is transforming. First thing I think we should establish is what all this means. What is masterpiece? What is legends? What is CHUG? If you've heard those terms before, I know a lot of you guys, this might be, you're like, what are you doing? But I definitely see a lot of people asking these questions. So I just want to make a little video, maybe helping them out. All of the names basically come from official avenues. Masterpiece was started by Takara. That's where the name masterpiece comes from, and it's traditionally was a G1 representation, a definitive representation of a character, and that's just what they started out with. They started out with MP01, which was Optimus Prime, and then they realized they wanted to get some type of scale together, so later they released MP10, which seems to be probably one of the most regarded figures in the fandom and one of the best figures that ever come out of Takara and Masterpiece. MP10 was Optimus Prime. It was scaled well. That's when they started scaling all the figures to that. So Masterpiece is considered, or was considered, say a G1. I think a lot of people considered it in the beginning just a G1 definitive representation with great engineering, great build, great materials, that scaled with other bots that were pretty, they were pretty big bots, and they just had a lot of detail in them. Now, I think when people say masterpiece, they're talking about a certain build quality and aesthetic, but not necessarily G1, and a scale, I should say, but not necessarily G1 inspired, because now you have IDW characters, you got some of the Japanese characters, some of the Japanese shows, the characters are being made and are still be considered masterpiece. Then you have like other that some people consider masterpiece figures, but they're like kind of reimagining of different figures. They all scale together. They're all pretty big figures, so you can look at it that way. They're high quality, or should be high quality figures. Some of the masterpiece players: Fans Toys, X-Trans Bots, DX9, MMC. That's just some of the main ones that come to mind. You got some other ones. You got new people coming out all the time. Companies that have changed their names back and forth. I mean, it is what it is. I could name a bunch of companies, but there's some of the main companies that you can kind of research and find and see what's going on. I'm not going to talk about prices of stuff. All this stuff is expensive, basically. So even legends now. So just be prepared for that. That is a later topic or a later discussion. or a topic I'll touch on a little bit later. Then you have Legends. Legends come from the main line as well, which, you know, you have Voyager, Legends, if you collect mainline. If you don't, you don't know what I'm talking about. They were the smaller bots. So that's why they started making smaller bots. And the first Legends that I know that came out that I bought was Unique Toys and then DX9. They were the two Legends companies that I was rocking with. And then Iron Factory, I started buying some of their stuff. But now you have New Age, Magic Square. These are all companies you can research and find their figures and see how you like them. And then you have, I guess, a third scale would be CHUG, which there's not a lot of that coming out these days. I think when it first started, when there was no like definitive scales, like people were just making figures like, oh, I like this figure. Like TFC comes to mind, Fans Project come to mind with CHUGs. But I think at the time, they didn't realize that they were that scaled. It stands for Classic, Henkai, Universe, and Generations, which is basically the mainline figures, how they look, how chunky they are, stuff like that, kind of aesthetic and scale. That's what a CHUG figure is. When somebody says something's a CHUG, I think that's where some of the confusion come from, because everybody says, like, now they're even saying mini masterpiece for Legends, because it's such a great figure, intricate, the build, the materials, they're just describing it as a masterpiece, but just mini. I don't know if I agree with that. I've even said it a couple times, but then I thought about that, and I'm like, well, words mean stuff, and you need things to be separated in order to understand the differences in them. That's the thing. So now that we got those established as far as what they're called, what size, the scales, and before you even think about buying different figures, I think there's 3 things you need to do. First, you need to look at your budget aside. So let's just assume you have a decent budget for the month. Every month you're gonna buy maybe 1 figure or maybe 2 figures a month, depending on your budget, but say 1 figure a month. So you have an all right budget that you can buy 1 figure a month, depending on how much it is, or 2 figures a month. The next thing I think you need to think about is your display area, where you're going to display this stuff, and if it is a static display area, if it will expand, or if it's going to be that size forever. You may want to think about the furniture as well, but mainly the space. I mean, you do want to think about the furniture, I think, before you even start building your collection. But I think you need a few pieces first in order to understand. You can't just like straight up think about your furniture before you even buy 1 or 2 pieces. So if you're just brand new to this and don't have any pieces and you're trying to get into it, yeah, you need to buy a couple pieces first and then see how they display, and think about what type of furniture you want in that space. But I think the space is really important, because you can always find furniture to fit in a certain space, but space is space, like it's finite. So whatever you have, if you're not going to be expanding, is what it is. And I think that's kind of better if you're starting with a clean slate and you have a space that's not going to change for years, or you just, you know roundabout how much space you have to work with. I say that because that may decide what you want to collect. I know a lot of people with smaller spaces that decided to collect Legends figures because they are smaller. Some say they're harder to display, which I think that's true, but I do think you can find ways to display them effectively, and they take up less space, so you can get more crammed into a space. Again, I think you have to display, like if you have a lot of negative space above, like you have to find out clever ways to kind of fill in spaces. But I think it can be done, and if you have a little space, I think Legends are the way to go. Then the third question I see a lot is, where do you buy these? I think I've answered that question like 3 times this week. And the answer is a bunch of places. I have no affiliation with any place that I may talk about. I don't like promoting unless they're really good at their business. You know, if I get treated well, I'll definitely shout a company or store out. But just to name a few, I am going to name a few places that you can go to buy. Of course, you got big names like BBTS. They've been around for years. I seen somebody say that they don't sell third-party figures. I haven't bought anything from them in a long time. When I first started out, that's all I was buying from them was third-party figures. So I don't know where they got that. I don't know if it just started or if they just didn't know that they sell third-party figures, or maybe they thought they didn't. However, you got smaller stores that still are good establishments, like Agabus. Agabus, great dude. He you know, he runs a store well. You got Toy Dojo. They're always fast. Like, their shipping is insane to me anyway. I'm in Jersey and I think they ship from Austin, Texas. I get figures the fastest from them. And now when they get figures in, I don't know how fast it is. I know Big Load I just got from them and that was fast. That came in like 3 days. CHUG, of course, is over in China, so it takes a longer time to ship, but they usually have better prices because they do have free shipping and all of that stuff, and they don't have to deal with the import fees and all that other stuff that the American stores have to deal with. Unfortunately, you know, I do like to support home as much as I can. Also, my wallet has to be wallet friendly as well. So some of these stores, I understand their hurdles as far as getting stuff in and shipping it and getting it at a good price. But some of them, you know, I'm not going to really mention because I don't know how well their prices are. I do buy from other places, and that's just a few. I mean, there's a ton of stores. I know there's like little stores like there's people that sell like DS Icons. He used to sell. I don't think he sells too much no more, but you know, you have people like that are good. They conduct business well, like Nick the Toy Guy. He just has an email, like, where you just email him. If you look around, go in the groups, the Facebook groups, join a couple Facebook groups. I think that will be my ending to say, get further information, I think, from the community. Like, get involved in the community, join the Realm of Collectors Facebook group, join the Black Collectors group, join Masterpiece Transformers photography group, join all these groups, ERC, join Transformers ERC. There's too many names. I'm sorry if I'm leaving some out, but I'm in all these groups, and I post something and you don't know what it is. Most people are okay with asking questions. You know, you have your occasional a-hole that might say something. You know, Transformers fandom, some might say worse, but it's not unlike anything else that you're involved in. Everybody has different lives. Everybody's different. Everybody has different morals and outlooks. And just because you collect this thing that this other person collects doesn't mean that that's a good person or is a good person to talk to or have a conversation with. But there are a lot of people, and the people running these groups, for the most part, are the people you want to talk to. So join the groups. Search stuff online, search these stores, find things that you like, and just research. I just say, look at everything and buy a figure. If you're trying to get into this collection space, buy your first figure and see how you like it. Like, look around these groups and see what people are saying about these figures, reviews, self-plug. You know, I got mad reviews on my channel. There's plenty of reviewers. You can look at YouTube, and I keep seeing more and more every day. And I know they have low subscriber counts, so I know they're new. So I mean, it's booming. You can find the information, but I just wanted like a start off. I wanted somewhere where you can start, and I try to keep it as concise as possible. I know I can go out on a tangent just like I am now. I'm probably on a tangent now. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at the time. Nah, but I try to keep it as concise as possible. I just have a lot of passion with everything I do. Like if I like it, if I do it, there's a reason I do it, and that's that. Like I like doing it, and I like bringing this information to people that might need it. All right, so I think that's it. And I can say this is one video that I had to write some stuff down, because after the second time and me going off, and I even went off on tangents in this video, I'm sure I cut it out, but you guys didn't see it. Again, if you're new here, if you learned something, if you got some value out of this, I implore you. I don't usually, you know, I had a little subscribe in the beginning, but I don't usually say subscribe. I usually say do everything you need to do for YouTube, but that don't always work. So subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And I mean, I'm trying to get to 10,000 this year. We'll see how that works. I'm hopeful, because I am growing a little quicker than I was. However, I am somewhat a variety channel. Most of what I do is Transformers, but I just have all collections, all collectibles, stuff I'm interested in, electronics. I'm a tech guy, so you'll probably see a video. I think I'm working on a bulb change for a projector, so that'll be posted one of these days, and you'll be like, what is going on? So I know people don't subscribe because of that, but please subscribe, help me out, watch some of the videos, and maybe you'll learn something if you're trying to get into the space. All right, thank you. I'm out now, for real.
You know, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.